Trump rising? That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, the red wave didn't materialize in 2022, but this year it's different. Biden's record in performance is on the ballot, and now, from coast to coast, his party is heading for a crushing defeat.
Since the debate now, they're very concerned that it's not just the presidency that they could lose. They're concerned that they could lose the House and the Senate. The Senate was always going to be tough. Now it's tougher. And they thought that they could maybe very well win the House back. Now they're concerned they're not going to.
Democrat members aren't just concerned. Even the cockiest ones are irritated and they're on edge, especially when pressed.
I do just want to ask you again if you think President Biden is the strongest person at the top of the ticket to win Michigan in the fall.
He's the candidate right now. And these are do you beat your wife kind of questions.
No, they're just logical questions. Now, the hits kept coming today. Every new poll seems to bring worse news for the Democrats. Real Clear Politics polling averages for the swing states are breathtaking. In Arizona, Trump's up by more than 5 points. In Georgia, he's up by 4. In Michigan, he's up by 0.6. Biden was leading there before that. And in Pennsylvania, and this is stunning, Biden's down by more than 5 points. Wisconsin, that has Trump up by 2 points. And not only does Cook Political Report show Trump over Biden by almost 3 points nationally, most major demographic groups are also shifting toward Trump and away from Biden. Trump now has 41% of the Hispanic vote, trailing Biden by about 6 points. But in 2020, remember, Biden beat him in that group by 21 points. And Biden's only up by 5 points among voters 18 to 29. Now, that's an age group Biden won by 24 points in 2020. You see the shift? And among independents, it's Trump over Biden by 6 points. No wonder Democrats are so depressed.
Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election and maybe win it by a landslide and take with him the Senate and the House.
So you're worried that your party is not just going to lose the White House if Joe Biden is at the top of the ticket, but that you're also going to lose both chambers of Congress?
I think that we could lose the whole thing, and it's staggering to me.
Are you concerned about the down ballot effect of all of this?
Absolutely. I'm a frontline member.
Do you share the concern that Biden may be dragging down the ticket?
I think Joe Biden shares that concern as well, and I think whatever decision he makes will take that into consideration.
They're all talking about whatever decision he makes. And even blue states are changing. It turns out New York, a state that Biden won by 23 points last time, may now also be in play. Politico is reporting that Biden's lead is down to 8 points there, and private polls that Politico analyzed have Trump in a virtual tie with Biden in key swing districts there. In a brutal assessment, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, lifelong Dem, told Politico, "We're still acting like this is a one-party state," which for pretty much 20, 25 years it has been. "I truly believe we're a battleground state now." Now, whether Trump wins New York or not, this is great news because now Democrats are forced to spend money where they never had to before. Now, The Angle, remember, told you that the 50-state strategy would work. And boy, it seems to be paying off. But at the same time, I was thinking about this today. If Democrats believe that this is all about Biden and all about the debate, they're wrong, because Trump beats Kamala by an even bigger margin in most surveys.
Despite all the Democrat panic this week, the truth is it doesn't matter who they nominate because we are going to beat any one of them in thundering landslides. And this November is going to be amazing, going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
Now, voters know that they're not better off than they were 4 years ago, including African Americans.
Under who did you do better financially, Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Financially, Donald Trump.
To be honest, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, honestly. I feel like the economy at the end of the day was in a better standpoint.
Inflation was down, gas prices was down.
Biden's policies are the problem. His debate was lousy, but the policies are the real problem here. Inflation, high food and fuel costs, less money in the pockets of working families, millions of illegals using up our resources, of course, in a never-ending war in Ukraine. So for the first time since the 1980s, Americans have a clear choice between a Republican with a history of strong economic success and a Democrat Party that is simply managing decline. So if the GOP can keep pressing ahead in all 50 states and make this election about who will do the best job for the American people, then they can win no matter who the Democrats nominate. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.